In Cambodia, Tzu Chi volunteers head over to Battambang province to assess flood damage. In Chiayi, Tzu Chi volunteer Liu Qingbiao invented various items to make recycling works easier for volunteers. Selamat datang ke Headline, saya Simon Gan. Terima kasih menyertai sesi berita kita. In Cambodia, various natural disasters has devastated the country. Since May, droughts occurred. In October, floods occurred. Over 20 provinces were affected by the floods. The government has requested Tzu Chi for assistance, and Tzu Chi volunteers headed over to Battambang province to assess the situation. Seeing the volunteers in blue and white uniform coming to assess the damages, the locals are unable to hold back their excitement.
When I recall about the past, I'm very happy. We used to call Tzu Chi. 10,000 families were affected back then, and all of them received the aid supplies.
Back then, they called us Tzu Chi. Ever since then, they already knew about us. He said that the 50 kilograms of rice they received at that time was the most aid supplies they received in their lives.
25 years ago, also because of flooding, Tzu Chi arrived in Battambang province for the very first time. This year, the disasters were more severe than before. Droughts and floods hit the area one after another. All the farmers felt very helpless.
In April, when we planted our first batch of crops, the drought came. In August, when we planted again, all of them were flooded.
Their prized farmland has turned into barren lands. The soil have become wet and soft as they were soaked for a long time, making it hard to plant anything. What worries the farmers more is the availability of water for them to grow crops.
We lack a large amount of water. I have no money and no more seeds. The water pipes have also been destroyed by the rats.
My vegetable farm has been completely destroyed. I have no vegetables to send to the vendors. 3 months' worth of income is completely gone.
In October, 20 provinces, including the capital city, were immersed in flood waters. The government initiated emergency rescue operations, but they were unable to help all places in time. Therefore, they reached out for help from other NGOs. Tzu Chi was allocated to assist Battambang province, continuing their previous affinity with the area.
The problems they are facing are the lack of seeds and water for planting crops. If the floods recede and they can't plant the crops in time, they'll have to wait until April next year. They also need rice to eat.
I really hope that Tzu Chi can come and help us. I also hope that the lives of our locals can turn for the better.
Battambang province has 14 townships and 99 disaster-affected areas. Volunteers have been heading to these places from morning till night. The local government has also accompanied the volunteers throughout the process as they believe that Tzu Chi volunteers will hold on to their promises. In the Philippines, work for relief programs are being held in the places which have been devastated by the recent typhoons. In Marikina, there are 10 local volunteers who are from Batangas. They too were affected residents, but they claim that they want to reciprocate back towards society. Let's take a look. It's the second day of the Work for Relief program in San Mateo, and the number of local participants is almost the same as the first day. Originally, volunteers planned to hold 6 briefing sessions for the participants. They then shifted the briefing outdoors to become one big session, and everyone can head out to work after that. After the first day of cleaning, most of the streets have cleared up. However, why were there piles of unwanted furniture on the streets on the second day? It's because the Work for Relief participants on the first day cleared out the soaked furniture after they finished their work. Heavy machineries were used to help clear all the rubbish. Wearing the volunteer vest, these 10 volunteers are from Batangas. Last week, when Typhoon Goni devastated their homes, Tzu Chi also assisted them with the Work for Relief program. They came all the way to help out with only one thing in their mind, to reciprocate to society.
Us residents of Terra Verde subdivision are very happy. Although we only met Tzu Chi because of the flood, Tzu Chi have inspired us and broadened our horizons. Although we do not have money to donate, we can help with cleaning. This is also a way of giving of ourselves.
The
napakasaya. Mawala man financial, pero nandito kami. Siyempre, gusto namin
We were once affected residents, so we can understand what they are feeling. We came here to share the hope and help that Tzu Chi has provided us.
The spirit of helping one another can also be seen on an entrepreneur, Benson Lau. He called upon his workers to join in on helping others. No matter it's cleaning up the streets or preparing lunch, they're all happy to serve. Over in Kamalik, there were less than 300 residents participating in the Work for Relief program on the first day. However, on the second day, the number of participants rose to over 900 people. The spirit of helping one another portrayed by the locals is amazing.
I already had the thoughts of giving up in repairing my home. However, seeing that so many volunteers coming to help, it gave us hope. You told us not to give up and provided us with this Work for Relief program, giving us the opportunity to receive the monetary aid through our own hard work.
We agree that the Work for Relief program initiated by the Tzu Chi volunteers, you do not provide the monetary aid directly, but you encourage the residents to step up and clean up their homes. After they have put in the efforts, only you provide them with the monetary aid. I think this is a win-win situation.
Due to natural disasters, their homes have been devastated. However, with the guidance of the volunteers and the spirit of helping each other among the locals, hopes can be seen once again. The seeds of love have also been planted in the hearts of these people. Tzu Chi volunteers in Jordan have cared for the refugee camp in Mafraq for many years. Recently, the chief executive of Tzu Chi Jordan chapter, Chen Chouhua, donated 2 bookcases in his home and also collected children's books from friends, setting up the first small library at the refugee camp. On the lowest and under the blue sky, Syrian children have an endless playground in the Mafraq refugee camp. Tzu Chi volunteers in Jordan have distributed food to the refugees on a regular basis for many years. Although the refugees' stomachs is filled up, their children do not have enough books to read. Therefore, Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Chouhua donated 2 bookcases at home, and friends from all walks of life donated money to buy books or donated books.
When we open this book, there are 3-dimensional designs that can teach children.
I'm very grateful to Tzu Chi and all Tzu Chi volunteers. Thank you very much for helping us set up a library. Thank you, everyone.
I'm really happy and touched. I'm very grateful for everything that Tzu Chi has done for us. Apart from sending us educational books, they also send us storybooks. Not only me, but other people can also benefit. I'm really grateful to you.
Thank you, Tzu Chi, for giving us a library. Not only teacher Khadija is happy, but I'm also happy. Other children can also use the library and study here. Thank you, Tzu Chi. Thank you, Master.
In Malaysia, students and teachers from Thai Kindergarten Kepong collaborated to make a picture book titled Malaysia is My Home. Kindergarteners vow to create a picture book and donate the profits to children without nationality, hoping that they may have a better lives.
Malaysia 是我家，是一本讲述3大种族的故事。
Inside the picture book, the plot and character design all came from Dai Kindergarten, Kepong teachers and students. The process took about 3 months.
They have made some figures before, so I thought that they could also do a picture book, and children with no nationality may have these types of books to read.
无国籍孩子也可以像他们这样有书可以看。
我负责绘本的封面，还有第5、第6面。我希望他们也可以去上课。
I think the picture book events initiated by teachers is very meaningful, because this inspired compassion within children. The picture book contains all their love and sincerity.
The picture book sends a message on different groups of people and races coming together, displayed in both Mandarin and Malay, allowing children without nationality to better understand and participate in what's going on.
This story is also playful, because at the back, the children without nationality may color it and make handcraft.
这本书是我们制作的，请问你们可以帮我们买一本吗？爸爸，你要不要买来跟着叔叔？阿姨，这一个影片是我要做宣传影片，你要不要买我们的故事书？
Students eagerly promote their picture books to people and families around them. This also includes crowdfunding for the picture books' printing fees.
Through different communities, they understood that there are much more out there needing help. Using their own power, not just money, they use their creativity to raise funds to help children.
Although tough challenges were faced during the making of the picture book, students never gave up as they crossed obstructions.
那个衣服太小跟太大，然后有一次盖到他的嘴巴，然后我就在一直试试看。我记得施工上人说的金词语就是克服困难，不要被困难克服。
制作子公仔化妆的过程中。
During the make-up process of the figures, she faced many challenges, but what I saw is that she never gave up. She always came back to ask us how to do better.
Under the support of many, the picture book sold over 1,000 copies, hoping that children without nationality may feel the love from society. Spreading love by one person, one picture book, through a different educational method, children learn to use their own power to help others and cherish what they currently have.
In Malaysia, a third wave of pandemic broke out in October unexpectedly. There was even a cluster of infections in Penang prison. Tzu Chi volunteers immediately sent them protective materials to support the frontliners.
The third wave of pandemic broke out in Malaysia in October. There was a mass infection in Penang prison. After learning about the news, Tzu Chi volunteers immediately delivered protective materials to frontliners in the prisons.
Since 8th of October, we have been giving to them. This is the 11th time we have been providing to the frontliners for Jawi prison and Penang prison.
2,000 sets of protective clothing, 2,000 protective gloves, 2,000 protective masks, 500 packs of jinsi biscuits, and 14,400 cans of beverages. All these were provided by Tzu Chi, which can be regarded as the strongest support for frontliners to fight against the pandemic.
We will still communicate with them on a weekly basis. If necessary, we will still continue to support the frontliners.
As the pandemic continues to rage, the frontliners must stay alert. It is hoped that these batches of protective materials, which carry the blessings of volunteers and all kind-hearted people, can support the frontliners until the pandemic ends.
Changsha Tzu Chi volunteers have initiated the family care plan. The first group of care recipients include 12 households, including a household losing their only child, leaving a granddaughter, creating a generation gap. Volunteers visit these families every month, accompanying the children as they grow.
5-year-old Tzu Chi happily plays with Legos. She is playful like her peers, but actually before turning 2, she lost her mother.
This child's mother passed away in 2017, within 2 months due to SLE, so her grandmother, after losing her own child, was emotionally impacted.
After the mother's passing, Tzu Chi and her father lived at the grandparents' home. This year, Changsha Tzu Chi volunteers initiated the home care program, and Tzu Chi was on the list. With a care period of 10 months, this little girl now treated volunteers as her mother.
其实你现在有几个妈妈了呀？
有2个妈妈。
哪2个妈妈？哪2个妈妈？还有一个妈妈在哪里？
我还有一个范静。
还有一个范静妈妈。这是她自己的妈妈。
我妈妈在天上。
At a young age, it's hard to understand losing motherly love. But Tzu Chi volunteer He Yan filled in the gap. Not only does she video call Tzu Chi frequently, she also treated Tzu Chi's grandmother as her own mother.
In the past, Tzu Chi's grandmother had no particular view on life and death. Once her daughter passed away, she was losing motivation to live. Because of this, we talked to her about the reasons of life and death, and slowly guide her to open up herself, working out of depression.
On this day, not only did Tzu Chi volunteers arrive to care, they also brought different cooking ingredients. Preparing a table full of vegetarian cuisine, Chi Chi's grandfather joked that this is an early family reunion.
Bless Grandpa and Grandma health and longevity. Bless Tzu Chi to grow up healthily. Tzu Chi provides love and humanitarian care to this family, accompanying the children's growth. This also includes Grandma. Seeing her change made us very happy.
With Tzu Chi volunteers' care, Chi Chi's family had someone to rely on, and no longer worried about the future.
In Jiai's Waishizhou recycling station, there is a special volunteer, Liu Qingbiao, who invents various tools to help lessen the burden of the recycling volunteers. Here's more. The length of our roof is about 4 meters. It is a fixed roof. We cannot use the crane, but if it is changed to movable roof, after lifting it up, we can use the crane to move things.
2 foldable roofs weighing 300 kilograms are attached to recycled pulleys, which not only solve the time-consuming transportation work of volunteers, but also prevents recycled paper from getting wet and soaking in the rain.
In the past, we had to move it around with manual labor. 3 or 4 people moved this, and if it rained, we had to cover it with a canvas.
A roof is several hundred kilograms. How can we save this energy? I designed a movable pulley system that can manage a force of 300 kilograms. Through this pulley, there's only 100 kilograms of power left.
Unable to bear the pain of volunteers transporting the recycling, Liu Qingbao set off on work. He was an apprentice at the age of 17 and has a background in mechanical engineering, and is known to many as the brother with multiple abilities.
He's really serious. He will come here, and as soon as he gets back, he tries to fix things. As he asks, what are we doing that's not good and what can we fix? If we ask him to fix something, he would do it.
In 2000, there was an accident at work and he was left with only 6 fingers. His life fell into a low point as he relied on family support and perseverance to get out of his depression.
I have to overcome some things like finding small parts for assembly. I've done this for 20 years. I can use a calm heart to accomplish this.
The steel cable must be well positioned, and if it isn't, will suddenly fall off and the movable roof will break. If there is an unexpected situation, he will work with other volunteers to solve the problem. He said that doing recycling work requires happily giving of oneself. You can make good use of wisdom to solve problems and use ingenuity in life, as everyone can take action to protect the earth.
The Shizhi Recycling Education Station is open all year round, and more than 50 volunteers go there every day to do recycling. Today, we take a look at the stories of these recycling volunteers who dedicate themselves completely in environmental protection.
At the recycling station, people call them the 3 musketeers of PE bricks. They cut off the styrofoam from paper boxes and cut them into small pieces. Among them, the 68-year-old Cao Ronghua modified a handsaw to speed up the recycling rate.
Saw teeth are not suitable for us. It needs to be sharp, like a cutter knife. But it's easy to operate if the handsaw is long. So we ground out the saw teeth and turn it into a knife.
These colorful plastic bags are made of different materials. Volunteers sort them according to their raw materials, remove any unwanted parts to increase the recycling value.
If we make the sorting better and cleaner, it will be easier and more convenient for the companies for further processing. So they like to come to us to collect the sorted plastic bags.
The Shizhi Recycling Education Station is open all year round to collect recyclables. More than 50 volunteers go there to do recycling automatically, and there is no need to check in.
We love the master, so we do what the master likes.
They don't want to do it, so we do it. These recyclable items have reusable values.
Yo Guo-sen, who has retired for many years, finds his value here and no longer has insomnia every night.
I come here every morning. In the afternoon, I'll arrange some simple things for me to do, like running or reading a book. So the pace of my life is set. Once it is set, my health has improved a lot.
The manager of the station, Xu Minghui, comes here every day and sees this as her home.
I treat them as my own mom and dad. The average age here is almost 70 years old.
Loving the earth, she also cherishes the friendship among volunteers.
In the US, Tzu Chi volunteers have held a food distribution for disadvantaged families once again. This time, police officers from St. Gabriel Police Department also joined in and sent the supplies to the house of impoverished families. During the pandemic, Tzu Chi volunteers continue to care for disadvantaged families. Volunteers held drive-through distributions at Gabrielino High School. Every family is able to receive a box of dried foods and fresh fruits and vegetables.
My family is out of work and this is a great big help to us, and I appreciate it.
This is the second time Tzu Chi held a food distribution here. Their actions have also received the recognition of the local mayor and the police. Volunteers from other local NGOs also came to lend a helping hand.
Gratitude that I'm in a position where I do have food in my house. I have a job. I'm very grateful for the company that I work for. I'm very grateful and in my heart, a lot of joy for myself to be able to help people, specifically in this community today.
Nis, who brought her children to receive the aid supplies, have just rented a house recently. Facing financial difficulties, it is very hard for her to provide a complete home for her children. Tzu Chi volunteers brought clothes for the children and an eco-friendly blanket. They also provided cash cards so that the family can now live at ease.
We appreciate your organization and what you guys are doing because it helps us not only with the food, but just encourages us to keep pushing, keep trying, and believe that there's help out there. You just have to be willing and to take it and willing to look for it sometimes.
The police have also mobilized the police car for the first time in sending supplies to impoverished families.
I think it's important that we, as a community, understand what it is police officers do. It's partnerships like the one we have with your organization that really goes a long way in showing what it is that we, as San Gabriel police officers, do here in the community. So we want to thank you.
The police officers in San Gabriel all have a big heart. They are all very passionate and provided assistance for us during the times in need. All the assistance provided were just fantastic.
With the cooperation of various parties, the love towards the disadvantaged families have multiplied significantly, making them feel the warmth of society once again. In the Dominican Republic, Tzu Chi volunteers collaborated with the Taiwanese Chambers of Commerce and held a writing and drawing competition. They also prepared laptops to be given to the children so that they can continue their lessons online. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and goodbye.